Ladies and gentlemen, here we are at Drilich Combat Academy with the Eternal MMA flyweight champion Anthony Drilich. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Now, third time lucky, mate. First time, a couple of months ago, I forgot to press record on the camera. Second time was a week ago, and hence what brings us to our third time meeting is because last week we were here to talk about, your original opponent, Jake Hill, allegedly, this is on his social media, didn't even sign the contract, so that fight matchup never happened, or there was some issues there. We then got you a replacement. The great guys at Eternal found Colton Kiabasa, who I think is an American from Thailand. He was going to come down, a bit of a visa issue. We talked last week, and it was looking like a fight wasn't going to happen, but we officially now have Satoru Enomoto, a Japanese practitioner that has fought in Pancrase. Do you know much about your opponent?
Only from what I can find footage-wise. I know that he's won in Pancrase as a champion, I believe. I think he's had all these fights from that promotion. That's as far as I know. I think, what is he, 8-4?
It's something crazy like that. Now, Eternal MMA 83, March 16th is when this is happening. You were originally slated for Feb 10th, Eternal MMA 82. Was the date your suggestion? Was it theirs?
I was theirs, obviously.
So you were ready to go Feb 10th?
I was ready to go, yeah. I was waiting, obviously, for that last opponent coming out of Japan to obviously say yes. And
was that the opponent?
Not that guy. It was another guy.
So this is technically like your fourth opponent?
Yes. Yeah. I know.
Is there not any bit of you that goes, I don't know, man, maybe I should know a little bit more about my opponents before I say yes? Or do you just really trust, you're working with Scrappy MMA and Ben Vickers a lot. Do you just go, Ben, it's yes to everyone?
Yeah, pretty much. Obviously, it goes through Ben first. And then if he's like, hey, you're going to fight this guy? I'm like, okay, sweet. Pretty much majority of the time, it hasn't been a time when I'm like, oh, who's that? Or
so did you watch footage of your previous Japanese opponent then?
Yeah, I got the name, and I think the night of or the next day we searched him up and we're like, sweet, that's cool, let's do this. Then obviously he pulled out for whatever reason. Now we're on to the fourth guy.
Now, in terms of international opponents, of course, there's always a worry of the visas and everything like that. Is there any concern heading into March 16th that this might not be the opponent?
I hope not. I hope this is it. I think my streak is 5 pullouts in a row, so I'm on my fourth now, and from the looks of it, he's all confirmed and sweet. So,
geez, that was better than when I was single. Now, when it comes to working with Scrappy MMA, how much is? We're at your beautiful new gym. How much is done here, and how much is done at Scrappy?
So every morning I'm Scrappy. Every afternoon I'm pretty much here, unless we change it up. Obviously during camp. But yeah, every morning is Scrappy. Every afternoon here. Is
it coaching here? Or is it you still
both? When it's coming into camp, or we're getting how many months out, then I'll be just training. My brother will take over the coaching.
And your brother has been around for a long time, really helping your career. How instrumental is he with training camps?
Almost everything. Yeah, it sums it up real quick. He does a lot for me. Yeah.
He seems really and please don't punch me, but he seems like the brains.
Yeah, obviously I'll leave it to him. He's on. Yeah, he's on all the time.
He's almost like your manager sometimes.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he's my brother. He's my manager. He's my coach. He's my dad. Yeah, so yeah.
Now, you now know your new opponent is. What's the game plan? Does it change with opponents when you're going into Eternal MMA 83, or is it just you're going to do what Anthony does?
Obviously, we study every opponent we have.
Is that you and Brandon study, or is it you and Ben Vickers?
All of us.
So
all of us, yeah.
You all study it going in, every single opponent?
I think Ben knows who they are. He looks them up. He goes, all right, this is what we should do for this guy. And then we watch watch him and go, yeah, we completely agree, and then we'll go from there. Change up a bit what needs to be changed or what needs to be improved, then we go from there.
And what's it like training at Scrappy MMA with so many Eternal MMA champions? I mean, you even had John Martin Fraser pop down, the Eternal MMA middleweight champion. What's it like? Jack Della, obviously UFC ranked fighter. What does it feel like to get down and mix it up with such talent?
It's good. But obviously, being there, not every day you're going to be the hammer. Of course, you're going to be the nail. So that's good. Obviously, at this point, like, you know, it's not ego. It's like if I'm getting beaten up, I know I'm in the right place. You know, I'm getting pushed in. I've got to stay onto it. So going down there every morning, you know, you have to physically and mentally work.
Is there ever a bit though where, like at some gyms, they might focus on their main guy and sort of tailor-make the training camp around them? Where at Scrappy, there's so many good guys that are always in camp. You kind of not just a number, but you're all helping each other out. Is there any bit of you that goes, oh man, I wish we'd focus on just me for these couple of weeks?
No, like obviously, you know, most of these events or fights, there will be like at least a couple of us fighting at that time or that month. So more of the focus is going to get put on us guys, you know, whether it be me and Jack or whoever it may be. It'll be, yeah. And if it's obviously just one person that month, then thinking like, right, you need to go with this, and you need to do that. But yeah.
I mean, you mentioned Jack Della, and there's an almost viral photo going around of when you both weighed like collectively like 200 kilos, and now one of you is at welterweight and the other one's at flyweight. What's it like seeing a photo like that?
Damn, I've lost some weight, eh?
Because your heaviest was at 90
something, yeah. I can't remember the exact weight, but I was in the 90s at one stage.
And what are you now?
Like low 60s. So yeah, and I get to 57.
So you fought as high as featherweight, haven't you?
Yeah, I fought. Yeah, I think the heaviest weight I fought was at 77. Yeah, 77. Then I was working way down from there.
And how do you feel now at flyweight?
Yeah, I feel good.
Is it the best you've ever felt? Like,
you know, obviously I lost the weight over time, and I fought in different. Like, I worked my way down the brackets of fighting. So it's not just like I started at 77, fought then, and then just made this big drop and fought at flyweight. You know, so I've got to work with my body. My body's starting to, you know, respond well. So yeah, I can't complain.
Do you have crazy confidence with the amount of knockout power that you have? I mean, you've knocked out guys at, you know, featherweight, bantamweight, and now you're at flyweight. Do you just have an unbelievable belief in your ability to put people to sleep?
I definitely have a belief. Obviously, yeah, putting dudes out. I've been doing this my whole life, so you know, whatever comes, you know, I'm sure I can figure out a way to win. I wouldn't say I'm like Mr. Confidence. I'm just going to walk in there and knock people out all the time. Like, I wish that was true, and if it was, I would do that. But yeah, I just go in there, stick to the game plan. You know, obviously, stay confident and do my thing.
Now, I'm going to talk to you about your last title fight against Frank Jankowski. Now, an absolutely amazing display. I mean, I even said it with Callum Potter when breaking it down. I thought like Frank might be the one to initiate the grappling, and maybe you put Frank out if you win, but you're the one that completely outclassed. I've got to talk to you about the noise we heard online about something to do with he fractured his spine. Were you aware of that? I mean, his team at some point, some of them were claiming that maybe some inadvertent hit the spine. Were you aware of this?
I got told about it, I think, about a week after my fight. Yeah, I was like, oh shit, you know, I didn't realise what's happened. Like, obviously, from when I fought, I didn't recall any time where I'd need him in the spine. So as I do, I go back and watch the rewind of it, and like I didn't see any so-called illegal knees. Like I didn't intentionally try to knee him in the spine or anything like that. From what I can see, is I've obviously kneed him in the hip or something, or in the ribs, and something's happened there.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it back as well, and I didn't see anything as well. But I mean, in situations like that, what do you do? Do you just kind of leave it at that? Do you reach out to them at all? Because I mean, fans of fighters are always very vocal, as they probably will be in the comments. They love to kind of have their guys back, almost to a detriment at times. But does that force you to reach out at all, or you leave that?
It depends on the circumstance. Like I seen Frank straight after the fight. So we're outside, you know, the fights are done and the place is closing up, and yeah, we're all good. You know, awesome fight, that kind of stuff. You know, chit chat, and we're both all good. You know, we keep it professional, and we are professionals. So yeah, like from what I've spoke to him that night, I didn't see anything serious. You know, like it wasn't like he was coming out in a stretch or anything like that. He seemed pretty normal to me. But yeah, then a week later I got told, and I was like, you know, this is fighting. You know, obviously, I'm not trying to be there and be that dirty guy who just tries to aim for people's spines. You know, but like if that's happened, it's happened. Like yeah, nothing I can do about it.
And I've got to ask you about the big news, of course, the former Hex bantamweight champion Sean Gauci vacating the belt, dropping it down to flyweight. Now, he has said previously in the past, bar making the UFC, he really wants to fight Anthony Drilich and Stuart Nickel. Now, what are your thoughts on Sean Gauci?
Sean Gauci. I think we were originally meant to fight a while ago. I can't remember the day, maybe like a year or two ago. Then he had to pull out of injury. Then, yeah, so whatever, like that was in the past for me. I'm just moving forward, you know. I just get lined up with the fights and I say yes to them.
You're the best flyweight in Australia?
Oh, yeah, and I believe so, you know, try to keep it that way.
Now, what can we expect heading over to the Gold Coast? I mean, like we said, you were going to get to fight in front of your friends and family in Perth. You now got to travel all the way over to the Gold Coast. Do you like that better, or would you rather be at home?
I think hometown fighting is always nice. You know, it's only up the road for me. You know, head up the road, fight, head back, and then you're home. So it's always nice like that. But I've got family over east, so it's all right. Just get down there, do my business, then fly back.
And I mean, your career's been real up and down. I've been thinking you've been around for, you know, your professional record's exceeded like 10 years and whatnot. Like, how does it feel to be a champion of a promotion that is of the level of Eternal MMA? I mean, you grew up going to some of those shows, you know, you've cornered guys and whatnot. Like, what does it feel like to wear that belt?
It's definitely a good feeling. I don't really think about it too much, you know what I mean? Like, for me, you know, I just train, I fight, and I just keep working my way up. So for me, I think it was only a matter of time. But yeah, obviously, I've done martial arts my whole life. I've fought for years, you know, and when you fight, you obviously want to be the best, or at least try to make it to the top of whatever you're trying to do. So I got the belt, sweet, on to the next, you know.
So here's my rattle the cage question. In Perth, can only assume that, you know, everyone here, I mean, behind us, so they all come, they watch. Assuming you get commissions for tickets. When you fight in Gold Coast, does it annoy you that you might not get commissions for tickets? Or as many people that come through the door?
Nah, it don't bother me one bit. Like, obviously, fighting here, like, I love having, like, all my friends and family come down, but hey, whatever, you know, I'll go down there. So I'm only going to be there for, max of 25 minutes, put this guy out, win, get my arm raised.
It's a question for Brandon anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I don't care. It's just like, let's fight. That's all I'm worrying about is just putting this guy out.
No, you really have always been a fighter's fighter, and every promoter has always talked about how game you are and that you will fight anyone, anywhere, anytime. But yeah, as we wrap this up, Eternal MMA 83, March 16th. If you're tuning in on UFC Fight Pass, or perhaps you want to get tickets, www.eternalmma.com, what can people expect? What is the prediction going in?
I'm going to get my arm raised, and he's going to be on the ground, out or knocked out.
I love it, mate. Best of luck.
Cheers.